Hold on, I gotta wash my...
Let me take this thing off.
All right.
3 shows. This little guy.
I want to welcome you to the Todd Pod. It's a special episode where we will be discussing food and all of your favorites. Todd Pod.
Todd Pod!
Whoop whoop! Stay tuned. We're going to be talking about how foods are labeled and why they're labeled wrong and why it makes us so angry. We're looking at
Presented by Batter Sports.
Batter Sports, where it's always good to be a batter. And we like being fans even when it's painful. So,
is that our... Oh, yeah, that's our slogan, right?
It is.
Okay.
So listen, subscribe, jump in on this thing. I have to tell you about an incident that happened to me, I want to say 4 or 5 days ago. It's no secret that I love Burger King. When my wife was pregnant with all 3 of our kids.
No secret at all.
Yep, well publicized among the masses. When my wife was pregnant with each of our 3 kids, and she would go into that period where she's just eating, right, to keep morning sickness away. It's like, it was always Burger King. And I was like, I'll just eat that with you. I'll dive in. So the other day I go there.
Yeah.
Get that, right? My favorite's the Whopper with cheese meal.
Whopper, 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 Whopper.
So I go and I order the Whopper with cheese meal. And I get home and I'm eating it and I'm like, something's not right. And I look at the wrapper and the wrapper's green. And it says Impossible Whopper on it. Now, I have never, ever ordered, never requested, never wanted the Impossible Whopper. Ever. But I'm sitting there looking at it and I was getting irritated.
I'd be irritated, yeah.
Number one,
you want
those
some
things,
meat? You want meat and you want fat and you want...
I don't want the sodium of the Impossible Whopper, which is unreasonably high in sodium. That's not my only argument.
Sodium? That's your one concern, the sodium?
Have you, on food labels, have you seen this thing where people will say it's plant-based?
Yes.
Like everything's like plant-based now. It's like, oh, well, it's not, there's no meat in it. It's plant-based.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
It's
when you read that,
plants,
what does that mean?
Is it made out of plants? Is that what it is?
It doesn't say it's made out of plants.
Oh, it's just plant-based. So
it's
there could be like
right?
There could be like a lettuce leaf in there, and the rest could be like hot dogs.
Right. All I do is I take a sprig of parsley, I put it in and I grind it up, right? And I'm mashing it around, and then I throw
based on plants.
Right. It's based on plants. And I could put plastic in there,
but because
I put a sprig of parsley, whatever, right?
Are you sure that's the regulation?
Look it up right now.
I'm not going to look it up.
Come on, look it up right now.
I'm not going to look it up.
Few moments later.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. I see it right there.
What? No, you didn't.
Plant-based. Okay, I'll look it up right now, and I'm going to call you out.
Okay.
What does plant-based mean? Let's see. Plant-based. Consisting largely or solely of vegetables. Grains. What is a pulse? It says pulses.
What?
Grains, pulses, or other foods derived from plants rather than animal products. Oh,
derived from?
Plant-based. Where you should put plant-based.
I'm just saying, like, when you look at the ingredients of most plant-based stuff, the ingredients are unreadable. It is always some chemical compound that somebody's put together in a lab that you could either use to put on the sole of a running shoe or you could put it in somebody's food. It's never like simply like, oh yeah, this is made of parsley, green beans, broccoli, and peaches. Like that would all be plants.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Remember during COVID when everyone was going crazy and nuts and like everything was starting to sell out.
Yeah.
You're selling out of milk, you're selling out of water, you're selling out of toilet paper, of course, tissues,
Lysol,
sanitary wipes. You were selling out of meat.
Right.
What weren't you selling out of? there was Beyond Meat.
Right. Yeah. The Impossible Whopper. I think what Burger King was doing is this thing's such a failure that they're trying to pawn it off on innocent civilians who just want a Whopper. I just want a regular Whopper, and you're pawning off this bean curd monstrosity.
I doubt it's just bean curd.
What else? Come on, what is it? What is it?
What is a bean curd? Yeah, I thought curds were like you made curds out of like milk or something, and it was like a cheese thing, like cottage cheese curds. But how do you make a bean?
I think I just became lactose intolerant listening to you say milk and cheese.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you lactose intolerant?
I have moments. You'd think it would be more consistent,
you know what?
right?
Actually, I think everyone's lactose intolerant. It's just some people
eventually
are more lactose. Eventually, is that how it works?
Well, I think your body stops having the ability to digest it because you're no longer an infant that needs lactose. That was how it was described to me by a band.
My dad is still drinking milk.
Well, he probably never got weaned off of it. Like if you stop drinking milk, your body would probably lose the ability to digest lactose.
You know what one of his favorite nighttime snacks is?
Bowl of cereal.
Nope.
What?
Get a glass of milk.
Yeah.
Crunch up a bunch of saltine crackers in it. Eat it. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
He puts saltine crackers in his milk and eats it. I don't know what is wrong with him.
What is that? That was
another
mush?
Time.
Is that like mush?
Yeah, it's like a mushy thing, but
that's curds.
Crackers and milk.
That's curds. He made curds.
That's the Impossible Burger right there.
He made curds.
That's what he's making an Impossible Burger.
God, that's one of those things like you wonder how was this actually invented? Like I think about the coconut and I think who was the first person to eat a coconut? Because a coconut just by itself is not edible. It's just a big giant nut. It's a big nut. But somebody broke it open and then ate the inside. Think about the courage it takes to do that. For the first time, you don't know if it's edible or not.
Oh yeah, with anything, you don't know if it's edible.
But I want to know who the first person was who were losing their teeth and couldn't chew anything. That were like, I need to put my saltines in milk.
No, I thought you were gonna say I want to know the first person who cracked open a coconut, and I was gonna say probably my dad.
He finger grinds the saltines to like a fine pulp.
Crunch it. No, not a fine. It's like kind of. It's.
Yeah, these are too hard.
It's a rough crunch.
These are too hard to chew. These are too hard to chew. I need to soak them in some milk.
What
milk?
I have no idea. He eats some weird. I mean,
It's like the breakfast. It's like the breakfast cereal of the Depression era.
Yeah. You know how if you've got like Thanksgiving dinner, you've got like your potatoes, your corn, your stuffing, your turkey, and maybe a little bit of cranberry sauce, right?
Yeah.
Most people like eat a little bit of each one as they go around and mix it up, right? Not my dad. He's like, as he's eating, he's kind of mixing it all together. So it's like his last bite is like everything.
Just a soup.
It's already pre-digested, I guess.
It's a soup stew.
Yeah, I don't
know. Like, you want me to put that in the Vitamix for you and we'll blend that thing? Yeah, labels are crazy. Saltines.
Yeah, I'm
just that's like when crackers used to be hardtack. That stuff they had in the Civil War that was like a giant protein cookie.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you got to like lose a tooth or two trying to eat it.
Maybe that was like growing up on a farm. Like they're like, we don't have any food to eat, so we're just gonna milk a cow and put some crackers in that and call that a Sunday dinner.
Or how about this? Like the bread had gotten old and stale, and the only way to soften it was to put it in milk.
Maybe that's it.
You need to have a conversation with your dad and ask him if that's what he did in his childhood.
If anyone in the world does this, let us know.
Yeah, you got to comment on this. This is
because I'm assuming that his family did it and other people did it. So
unless he invented this.
Yeah, how do we get on? We shouldn't have gone on this dad tangent, but
my dad eats spam. Loves spam.
I eat spam.
Love spam.
I eat spam.
But spam is like the leftover meat all pressed together.
I eat deviled ham too.
Oh God. Like the canned?
Yeah, like the canned deviled ham.
What were you raised on?
You wipe it on a piece of bread. It's kind of salty. It's pretty good. Same with spam. Spam's kind of salty too. You could fry it up. They used to make these spam. I mean, they probably do these little individual spam packets. You just open it up and squirt the spam out. Fry it a little bit and put it on a sandwich.
If you're really brave, you take and you run your finger on the spam and you get the jelly off and you eat the jelly.
Oh, I couldn't do that. You
couldn't do that.
Maybe or something.
You're too busy eating your saltine milkshake.
Deviled ham. What?
Deviled ham. What the deviled
you ate
ham?
An Impossible burger. That's
not
worse
on
than all of it
purpose.
combined.
That was an accident. That was an accident. I wanted to sue them. I was so angry. How do you do that? Like, there are people out there that really want to eat like a cow.
Yeah. You probably paid more for it.
I don't even know. I think they snuck it in because nobody's buying that crap. Nobody's buying that crap.
I don't know. Some people are buying it. Some people there's, believe it or not, Todd, there's some people who don't eat meat. So,
why?
I don't know.
Meat's delicious.
They get their protein from
bean curd,
beans and rice and other legumes. Pulses.
You made this statement. I'm looking at this. Figs are made from dead wasps. What?
Yeah. I guess the fig, in order for it to get I don't know what's the proper term.
Grow?
Inseminated? That's not the right term. It's got to, a wasp has to crawl up it and die, I guess, and then it's pollinated, and then it turns into fruit. Wait, so every fig is a dead wasp? Yeah, pretty much.
I had fig trees in my backyard. There's no way. In there. No way.
I think they make figs different now, but I think
they found a way to make it without dead wasps.
But there's nothing that says you can't eat a decayed wasp in a fig in the FDA rule book.
I'm looking this up. There's no way.
All right, look it up.
Are figs made from... Oh, are figs really full of baby wasps? So first thing that comes up.
Baby wasps. Okay, maybe baby wasps. And that's even worse. They're like killing the babies off. Just so you can eat a fig. Fig Newton. You think it's like innocent, Fig Newton, but you're really killing things.
Wait. I think this is fake.
It's not fake.
Right.
Is it fake?
Are we really eating a mouthful of sweet baby wasp paste?
Not all. It just takes one wasp.
Wait.
There are no dead wasps in figs.
To really understand the wasp eating dilemma associated with figs, There are
I think
connected
the
life
wasp has a-
cycles.
Oh my God. I've got a diagram right here, and it shows a wasp.
Fig wasps, yeah.
Or does it just lay eggs in the fig? I don't care, really. I'm not going to eat a fig.
I used to have figs in our backyard because my wife's family is Italian, so God forbid you don't have a fig tree, right? We took that one out because I was sick of all the wasps.
Oh, there were a bunch of wasps.
Not in the fig, but flying around the fig tree. There were. So
I think the female wasp transfers the pollen into the fig,
which eventually makes its way into an Impossible burger.
Yes, and
I'll bet you figs are in Impossible burgers.
Probably
absolutely
for sweetness, a little bit of sweetness, but. Yeah, she lays eggs in the leaves of the fig, and it has everything to do with the wasp. So
this show is turning into like Science Corner.
The same thing with another nasty thing some people don't realize. A lot of people do, I think now, but applesauce. You got some insect legs in there.
What?
FDA, it's good. Don't worry about it.
Is this one of those things where the FDA allows
insects in there?
The FDA allows a minimum number of dead bug
parts, yeah,
in your food, yeah,
parts per million or whatever. They probably have some nerd go down and say, "Oh, it's got to be 500 parts per million of dead."
Who's counting?
Legs.
Who's counting?
Poindexter.
Right. Poindexter needs to go down to Burger King and find out if they're really serving you Impossible Whoppers.
Yeah, so it's okay to have dead wasps in there, and then as soon as or dead bugs in your applesauce, and as soon as the Poindexter leaves and the FDA leaves, they're just dumping bug parts in there.
Yeah,
just like, we gotta fill these things up. Profits,
right? This is so much cheaper. You know what the real cruelty is, though, with vegetarians? They don't want to eat meat and all that stuff. You eat a raw vegetable, that thing is still alive.
I never thought of it that way.
Now, I'll close with that. This is the Todd Pod. Check those labels.